Charlie Munger, the right-hand man of Warren Buffett, once said, "It's a bitch. You gotta do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. Charlie said this because once you hit $100,000, your net worth explodes. In today's video, I'm gonna share with you why this is true and how you can take action right now. Even if you're broke, to get to $100,000 and beyond as quickly as possible. To understand why $100,000 is so powerful, you need to first understand compound interest, which Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world. Simply put, compound interest is the interest you earn on your money. But where it gets interesting is when you invest, you earn interest on your initial investment, the principal, and you also earn interest on the growth of that money. Think of compound interest as rolling a snowball down a hill. As the snowball travels downward, it gets bigger and bigger because it accumulates more snow. And the momentum carries it down the mountain. Benjamin Franklin explained it best when he said, "Money makes money, and the money that money makes money." This means your earnings are continually reinvested, leading to crazy growth, helping your money grow faster and faster over time. Let's say you create your first ebook, sell it, and make $10,000, and decide to invest this $10,000. If you get a 10% return, after 1 year, you'd have $1,000 in growth, totaling $11,000. In year 2, you'd have $12,100 because you're now earning on top of the $11,000 from the year before. The extra earnings might not seem a big deal at first, but it becomes significant later. If we leave that $10,000 alone for 40 years and it compounds annually at 10%, it will grow to over $452,000. Remember, all you put in was that original $10,000. Now you might be thinking, this is great and all, but what if I didn't write an ebook and I don't have an extra $10,000 sitting around to invest? What does this really mean for me? Let me share a real-world example with a compound interest calculator. Let's say you make the national average income of around $59,384 and you decide to invest about 15% of that, so around $742 a month. Let's say you're 25 years old and you never get any raises. How long will it take for you to get to your first $100,000? Investing in a low-cost index fund with an average return of 10% to be conservative, it will take around 8 years. It took 8 years of consistent investing to get to the first $100,000, but guess how long it takes to get to the next $100,000? Check this out, from years 8 to years 12, we're now at $190,000, almost $200,000. So it took just 4 years to get to your next $100,000 or $200. Pause here. Why did it only take half as long to reach your second $100,000? Well, remember our friend compound interest? This is compound interest working its magic. We're gonna get back on the calculator here and see how long it takes for that next $100,000 to show up. Let's go to 15 years. Boom, we're almost at $300,000. It just took 3 years. Let's review. It took 8 years for the first batch, 4 years for the next batch, 3 years for the next batch, and now just 2 years later, 17 years in, we're now at $361,000. At 20 years, we're now at $500,000. In 30 years, $1.4 million. And that was only off contributing $267,000. You can see now how this speeds up over time. It's easier to get to the next $100,000 as time marches on. Get this, it took 20 years to get to $500,000, but it only takes 7 more to make another $500,000 to get to that $1 million milestone. The secret sauce to making the most of compound interest is regular contributions plus time. If you do these 2 things alone, your net worth will explode, especially once you reach $100,000 in investments. Knowing what you know now about how important it is to reach that first $100,000 mark, how does that change your perception around spending? Is that Amazon purchase really worth it? Before you hit $100,000 in net worth, you have to realize that every single dollar is so important, especially in the beginning. That's why many financial experts advise you not to spend money on coffee. All right, if you want to reach $100,000 as soon as possible, I have 3 strategies that I want to share with you. Strategy number 1 is to increase your earning potential. A big factor affecting your path to $100,000 is As quickly as possible, try to increase the amount of income that you earn. We live in a time where there are more opportunities than ever to increase your income. You can increase your earnings through a side gig or side business while still working at your employer. I did this for several years before I started my own law firm. I ran a health coaching business at night and on weekends. And with technology, you don't even have to start from scratch. You can drive for a rideshare company or do freelance work. You can also develop high-income skills and look for promotions at your current job or switch to another job if the opportunity presents itself. One of my friends started house hacking to make additional income. She rented out the spare bedroom in her house. This leads me to strategy number 2, inspired by the book The Millionaire Next Door. This strategy uses a sports analogy, which is have a good defense. In other words, if you can't significantly increase your income, become wealthy in another way. Do it defensively. The book studied 95% of Americans with over $1 million in net worth in the 90s and found that most were ordinary people with consistent foundational financial habits. Many of these millionaires played good defense. Even if their income wasn't exceptionally high, in this context, defense means strategically figuring out how to spend less money. This involves actionable steps like planning for the year ahead, budgeting, and cutting back on discretionary spending. For me, I really cut down on expenses by meal planning, which is the fancy term for planning your meals in advance and preparing them in bulk at home. Honestly, I wasn't motivated to meal prep to save money. I started meal prepping because I wanted to lose weight. Strategy number 3 is to maximize the return on the dollars you have. Here in America, taxes take a significant portion of your earnings. Therefore, an effective way to accumulate more wealth is by using tax-sheltered accounts like a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, or 401k. For me, a major benefit of starting a business was not just the earning potential, but also the tax savings. Another efficient strategy is to hold your savings in a high-yield savings account, many which offer 4 to 5% interest. Some options include Ally, Wealthfront, and SoFi. Let me know in the comments if this video resonated with you and lessons you took away from it.